The world is holding its breath as a new and unpredictable chapter in global politics begins to unfold right here in the Western Hemisphere. The sense of unease is palpable, with newsrooms buzzing and ordinary citizens glued to their screens, trying to make sense of the rapidly changing headlines. It feels as if a geopolitical earthquake is shaking the very foundations of the Americas, sending shockwaves from the northernmost reaches of Canada all the way down to the southern tip of Argentina. The ground beneath the established order is shifting, and no one is quite sure where the aftershocks will lead. At the center of this storm is a stunning development. China is reportedly on the verge of selling its most advanced fighter jets, the stealthy J-20 and the versatile J-10C, to Venezuela. This isn't just a routine arms deal, it's a bold move that places cutting-edge Chinese military technology right at the doorstep of the United States, raising alarms in Washington and beyond. Such a deal could redraw the power lines across Latin America, directly challenging the centuries-old Monroe Doctrine, which has long asserted U.S. influence in the region. Now, with China stepping in, the doctrine's relevance is being tested like never before, and the risk of escalating tensions between Washington and Beijing is growing by the day. For Venezuela, led by President Nicolas Maduro, this is more than just a military upgrade, it's a rare opportunity to modernize an aging air force, project newfound strength, and send a message to both domestic rivals and international critics that the country is not isolated but backed by a powerful global player. For China, the stakes are equally high. This move is about more than just selling jets. It's about challenging American dominance in its own backyard, securing vital energy investments, and expanding its influence in a region rich with resources and strategic value. Every handshake and signed contract brings Beijing closer to its goal of becoming a truly global superpower. The sale of the J-10C and the formidable J-20 stealth fighter is a clear signal of China's global ambitions. These are not just symbols of technological prowess, they are tools of power projection, capable of shifting the military balance in ways that were unthinkable just a few years ago. In capitals around the world, military analysts and diplomats are scrambling to understand the full implications. Emergency meetings are being held, strategies are being revised, and alliances are being tested as leaders try to anticipate what comes next in this high-stakes game. Is this a calculated bluff by China and Venezuela, or are we witnessing the birth of a new military alignment in South America? The region's future could hinge on the answer, as neighboring countries weigh their own security and diplomatic options. The introduction of stealth aircraft into the region could render existing air defenses obsolete almost overnight, forcing countries across the continent to consider costly military buildups and new alliances. The arms race that many hoped was a relic of the past may be returning with a vengeance. Today is August 31st, 2025, and the world feels more uncertain than ever before. Every hour brings new developments, and the sense of anxiety is growing as leaders and citizens alike wonder what tomorrow will bring. This single transaction has the potential to unravel the delicate balance of power that has defined the Americas for generations. The scales are tipping, and the outcome is anything but certain. The question now facing the United States is stark. Is it truly prepared to face such a direct challenge so close to home? Military strategists are on high alert, and the Pentagon is re-evaluating its priorities in the face of this unprecedented threat. The story is still unfolding, and the world is watching with bated breath. One thing, however, is already clear. Nothing in the Americas or perhaps the world will ever be the same again. The story broke like a thunderclap, sending shockwaves through Washington and far beyond. What began as a routine morning quickly turned into a day that would be remembered for years to come. At first, the news was little more than a murmur, starting as whispers on obscure military forums and rapidly spreading across social media platforms. Within hours, those whispers became a roar as users dissected every detail and speculated on what it could mean for global security. Grainy photos began circulating, allegedly showing Chinese military transport planes landing at a Venezuelan airbase. The images, though unconfirmed, fueled a frenzy of rumors and theories, and soon the story reached a fever pitch. By midday, major news outlets had picked up the story, reporting that China was arming Venezuela with some of its most advanced fighter jets. Headlines blared across television screens and front pages, capturing the attention of the nation. According to these reports, the deal allegedly included the J-10C vigorous Dragon fighters, renowned for their agility and firepower, as well as the J-20 Mighty Dragon, China's premier stealth fighter. The possibility of such cutting-edge technology in the Western Hemisphere was unprecedented. The idea of China exporting its most advanced stealth fighter to Venezuela sent tremors through the Pentagon. Defense officials scrambled to assess the credibility of the reports and what this could mean for the balance of power in the region. On social media, the story exploded. Hashtags like #VenezuelaJets and #DragonDeal trended worldwide, as users shared opinions, memes, and in-depth analysis. The online conversation was relentless, with speculation running wild about the motives behind the deal and its potential consequences. Military experts and analysts appeared on news programs and in online forums, debating the capabilities of the Chinese jets and the strategic implications for both the United States and its allies. Some warned of a new arms race in the Americas, while others questioned the authenticity of the reports. In Washington, the initial stunned silence quickly gave way to frantic activity. Lawmakers and staffers worked late into the night, seeking answers and preparing for possible responses. An emergency meeting of the National Security Council was convened, with top officials gathering to discuss the rapidly evolving situation and to formulate a strategy. Senators from both parties demanded clarity from the administration and called for a firm, decisive response. The mood on Capitol Hill was tense, with heated discussions about national security and foreign policy. The State Department issued a statement calling the alleged arms deal destabilizing for the region, while the Pentagon announced it was closely monitoring developments and reviewing all available intelligence. Yet, the lack of a clear and decisive statement from the government only fueled the sense of crisis and uncertainty. Journalists and the public alike waited anxiously for more information. Around the world, both allies and adversaries watched closely, wondering how America would respond and what this could mean for the global balance of power. Diplomatic channels buzzed with urgent conversations. As the situation continued to unfold, the world watched with bated breath, aware that the next moves could reshape international relations for years to come. To grasp the situation's gravity, we must understand the J-10C Vigorous Dragon. This modern multi-role fighter jet rivals the American F-16 and Eurofighter Typhoon. Its agility and advanced systems make it formidable. Equipped with AESA radar, it tracks multiple targets with resistance to jamming. The digital cockpit and helmet-mounted display enhance situational awareness. Its engine propels it to speeds exceeding Mach 2. The J-10C's lethality comes from its weapons, like the PL-15 long-range missile. It can engage targets beyond visual range, a game-changer for Venezuela. For a country with aging aircraft, the J-10C represents a massive leap in capability. Its presence would force neighbors to reevaluate air defense strategies. The regional balance of power would be fundamentally altered. If the J-10C is concerning, the J-20 Mighty Dragon is nothing short of alarming. This is not just another fighter jet, it's a symbol of China's rapidly advancing military technology and its growing ambitions on the world stage. The J-20 represents a leap forward in aerial warfare, combining cutting-edge stealth, speed, and firepower in a single, formidable package. This fifth-generation stealth fighter is China's answer to the American F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II, both of which have long dominated the skies. The J-20 is designed to compete directly with these Western jets, matching them in stealth, agility, and advanced avionics. Its sleek, angular design and radar-absorbing materials make it a true contender in the race for air superiority. The mere suggestion of China selling the J-20 to Venezuela signals a radical and unprecedented shift in Chinese foreign policy. For decades, China has been cautious about exporting its most advanced military technology. Now, the possibility of such a sale indicates a willingness to challenge U.S. influence in the Western Hemisphere directly, raising the stakes for regional security. The J-20's stealth capability is one of its most formidable features, making it nearly invisible to even the most sophisticated radar systems. Its unique shape, special coatings, and internal weapons bays all contribute to its ability to evade detection, allowing it to slip past enemy defenses undetected. With this stealth, the J-20 can strike high-value targets deep within enemy territory and disappear before anyone even knows it was there. Its ability to launch precision-guided missiles and then vanish into the clouds makes it a nightmare for any adversary. The presence of the J-20 in the Caribbean would send shockwaves through U.S. military planning circles. Suddenly, the skies near America's southern border would be contested by a jet designed to outmaneuver and outgun anything the U.S. currently faces in the region. Equipped with an advanced AESA radar and a suite of high-tech sensors, the J-20 offers its pilots unparalleled battlefield awareness. It can track multiple targets at once, jam enemy communications, and coordinate with other assets in real time, making it a force multiplier in any conflict. Its super cruise capability allows the J-20 to fly at sustained supersonic speeds without using afterburners, giving it both speed and fuel efficiency. This means it can cover vast distances quickly, respond to threats in minutes, and evade pursuers with ease. All of the J-20's weapons are carried internally, from air-to-air missiles to precision-guided bombs. This not only maintains its stealth profile but also allows it to carry a deadly payload without sacrificing speed or maneuverability. This combination of stealth, speed, advanced sensors, and internal weaponry makes the J-20 one of the most lethal aircraft ever built. It is a true game-changer in modern aerial combat, capable of tipping the balance of power wherever it is deployed. If Venezuela were to acquire the J-20, U.S. radar and air defense systems in the region could be rendered virtually obsolete overnight. The jet's ability to evade detection would allow it to operate with near impunity, challenging American dominance in the skies. U.S. military assets stretching from Florida to the Panama Canal would suddenly find themselves vulnerable to surprise attacks. The strategic balance in the Caribbean would shift dramatically, forcing the U.S. to rethink its entire approach to regional security. Beyond its physical capabilities, the J-20 is also a weapon of psychological warfare. Its mere presence would sow uncertainty and fear among adversaries, undermining confidence in existing defenses and forcing costly upgrades. The arrival of the J-20 near U.S. shores would force a fundamental rethinking of homeland defense strategies. New investments in radar, air defenses, and rapid response forces would be required to counter this unprecedented threat. In many ways, the challenge posed by the J-20 echoes the tension of the Cuban Missile Crisis, a moment when the balance of power in the Americas was suddenly and dramatically upended. The arrival of the mighty Dragon could mark the beginning of a new era of strategic competition in the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela's pursuit of this deal stems from its dire situation. The military, once capable, suffers from neglect and lack of parts. The Venezuelan Air Force's fleet is a patchwork of aging aircraft. U.S. embargoes have grounded its F-16S, and Su-30S face maintenance challenges. For Maduro, a modernized air force is essential for power and sovereignty. China, Venezuela's key partner, offers military hardware as a logical step. The deal is a high-risk, high-reward gamble for Maduro. It could challenge neighbors like Colombia and be a propaganda victory, but it risks provoking the U.S. and triggering an arms race. China's move is part of its evolving grand strategy. Selling jets to Venezuela is a geopolitical statement, not just profit. It challenges U.S. power and forces Washington on the defensive. The timing coincides with high U.S.-China tensions. By placing military hardware near the U.S., China engages in strategic reciprocity. This sale advertises China's arms industry and reliability as a partner. It could open new markets for Chinese arms, eroding Western dominance. China also protects its economic interests in Venezuela. Strengthening Maduro's military ensures the security of Chinese investments. The sale of Chinese jets to Venezuela would send shockwaves across Latin America. Colombia, a U.S. ally, would feel threatened and seek advanced jets. This creates a security dilemma, where defensive moves are seen as threats. Brazil and other nations would be forced to reconsider military strategies. The region would face heightened military tension, diverting resources from development. For the U.S., it's a foreign policy failure and a challenge to regional dominance. The Monroe Doctrine would be nullified. Washington faces tough choices: sanctions, blockade, or military action. This deal creates a new fault line in global politics. It solidifies an anti-U.S. axis in Latin America. The Caribbean becomes a theater of great power competition. The peaceful character of the hemisphere is at risk. Even if the deal proceeds, Venezuela faces challenges in operating these jets. The J-10C and J-20 require complex support infrastructure. Venezuela's military struggles with maintaining high-tech equipment. Pilot training is a long process, and experienced pilots are limited. Integration of Chinese technology with existing systems is a logistical nightmare. Without proper integration, the jets would operate in isolation. The deal could become a debt trap, draining Venezuela's economy. The jets might end up as symbols of ambition over capability. A short-term victory could lead to long-term challenges. We stand on the brink of a new era. The potential sale of fighters to Venezuela symbolizes a changing world order. It challenges American leadership in its own hemisphere. The deal forces a re-evaluation in Washington. Will the U.S. respond with force or choose diplomacy? For Latin America, it's a dangerous turning point. The region faces a new arms race and must choose sides. Billions spent on defense divert resources from development. Will this deal happen, or is it political theater? The world watches as the crisis unfolds. The old rules no longer apply.